What is going on? I hope you guys are all having the best day of your entire freaking life. So, this is a training and video that I wanted to send personally to you because I personally believe that it'll be something that makes a huge difference when it comes to your result. Because, as someone now who has only been coaching moms now for 5 years, a very common question I hear inside of my messages, a very common theme that I hear in general is my metabolism has slowed down. And I don't know how to fix it. If you tell yourself, any of the following, you say, hey, you know what? Like I train 6 times a week. I work out 6 times a week. I cut the carbs. I do the cardio. I'm pretty consistent, and you're still not seeing the mom pooch go away. You're still not really seeing that tone look that you want to, really want to acquire. A lot of that does have to do with your metabolism slowed down. And I wanted to create this guide for you to really help speed up your metabolism. So that way you can finally start to see the mom pooch go away. So that way you can finally start to see the inches go down. And chances are, if you're watching this, you have a desire to want more, right? You have a desire to want to make changes. And a little bit of background on me: I run a program called the Busy Mom Squad. I have run it now for 5 years, where I've helped over 1,000 moms over the age of 40 speed up their metabolism, lose their mom pooch, lose the inches without spending hours inside of the gym or absolutely hating their life with their nutrition. So that's what we're all about here. And I'm sharing the 7 steps that I have found that has worked really, really well for our members and the success that they have had. So that way you don't have to stay stuck anymore. Because if you work long hours, you're high up in your profession, you just desperately want to make a change and just feel like you again, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. This video is really for you. So step number 1 is going to be prioritize protein at every single meal. And I'm not going to go like word for word for what I created here, because this is very important. I'm sure you hear this all over social media, but I'm going to provide a little bit more context. So a lot of the ladies that I talk to in my messages or on calls when they're, inquiring about joining the program, is they say, well, I'm eating around 103 grams of protein a day. I'm eating around 80 grams of protein a day. I'm eating around, 110 grams of protein a day. And every single person's goal and target is going to be different. But what does the quality of the source of your protein that you're consuming? Is it peanut butter? Is it from protein powders? Is it from Premier Protein shakes? Is it from granola? Like, are you counting that type of stuff towards your protein intake, right? And that stuff is not quality stuff, and that's something that is not going to really help speed up your metabolism, because that's not something that's promoting muscle growth with your body. That stuff you can have, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're having. A lot of moms think that, well, maybe if I just have a protein shake for breakfast, and then for snack I have a protein shake, and I kind of like just have a salad, and then for dinner it kind of like it's all over the place. Sometimes we eat out, sometimes we eat as a family. Sometimes people are eating off of my plate. Sometimes, I'm having pizza or I'm having a burger and fries. That is a recipe to continue to keep your metabolism stuck and to keep your mom pooch from really going away. So the protein that you should be consuming at each meal should be stuff like salmon, should be stuff like eggs, should be stuff like ground beef, ground turkey. I think I already said eggs, but and like when you have ground turkey, you want to make sure that's like a 93.7, a 96.4% lean. Steak is another really, really good one, right? Sources like that is what's going to really help speed up your metabolism, because it's going to allow you to get your protein intake higher while keeping your fat intake lower. When you have like the 93.7, the 96.4 type stuff, and you can have protein shakes and stuff, but I would limit it to like 1 a day, maybe 2 a day max. Because you want the majority of your protein sources to really come from quality sources, but it's going to really help make sure that you get that intake higher. Because if you're at 80 grams, 85 grams, you're just too low. It's just not enough, especially if you're lifting weights and you're expending energy at work with how busy that you are, and just other responsibilities inside of your life. Step number 2 is going to be strength training 2 to 3 times a week. So if you're doing stuff like F45, Orange Theory, HIIT classes with super light weights, you're just doing more harm than good to your body. And this is vastly different for moms over the age of 35 to 40, because that is not going to speed up your metabolism. It's not going to. It's going to keep it it's actually going to do more harm than good, because you're not allowing your body to lift the amount of weight that it can when you're doing those timed exercises in a really short time period and you're doing the HIIT stuff. Yeah, you're getting a good sweat, you're getting a good burn, and there's a lot of value in that, right? Like you have the community, you have the accountability aspect side of things, you have friends, and I don't think that you need to not do it completely. But the majority of your workouts should be something that is strength training focused, and you can't just be doing 20 reps, 30 reps, 40 reps, stuff like that, because that's not going to allow your metabolism to speed up. What's going to help allow your metabolism to speed up is going to be building muscle by following something structured, by following an actual customized program. You could find any sort of program out there on the world on ChatGPT, on, I have a lot of resources available too, but something customized and structured towards you is what's going to make the biggest difference in the world. Something I hear a lot when it comes to people reaching out for help in my Instagram, or people who are just inquiring about my program. A lot of times people think that they can continue to do it on their own. And while that might be true to an extent, if you've been stuck for a very, very long time period and you keep doing the same thing, Einstein says the definition of insanity is, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You need something customized and structured towards you to ensure that you can actually stay consistent over an extended time period and finally see the results that you're looking to get, whether that's, fitting your clothes better. Like you're really high up in your profession and you're trying to have something that you can do on the road in hotels, or something that you can do from your house in your home gym 2 to 3 times a week, 3 times a week preferred, even 4 times a week is what's going to really help speed up your metabolism in doing something of structure and challenging yourself between a rep range of 5 to 10 reps. And that 10th rep, you're like finishing and you're like, damn, like that was tough. So number 3, I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible for you guys, is going to be don't fear healthy fats. A lot of people think stuff like, olive oil and avocado and, cottage cheese, salmon, nuts are really bad for you. And it's all about the serving size that you're consuming. So if you dump olive oil all over your pan, right, like, and you don't track it, that's a completely different story. We always recommend that we use Pam spray for our members just because it is 0 fat, but you could still use olive oil and measure it out in a cup beforehand and pour it on your chicken or pour it on your steak. So that way, it's measured and actually tastes a lot better because it's cooking in that compared to just eyeballing it. I'm not sure if you ever weighed a serving of olive oil, but it's really not that much when you do it. But it's actually an amazing source of healthy fats for you. And it's something that can really help speed up your metabolism and really just benefit your hormones as well, because that's something that plays a huge role, when it comes to our results, especially if you're a mom over the age of 35 watching this. Obviously, your hormones play a huge role when it comes to your results. So don't fear stuff like that. Eggs is another great source. 4 is going to be a pretty much a given. Drink more water. If you don't like the taste of water, one thing that you can incorporate is going to be like those Mio packets, which is like the flavored stuff. We have a lot of members who incorporate that. You could buy some BCAAs. BCAAs don't really have a ton of benefits to them, but it is something that like you could add your water that would make it taste better. And I would recommend getting a Stanley Cup if you don't have one. You want to make one thing that James Clear talks about in his book, Atomic Habits, is making it easy. You want to make the habit easy. So you always want to make sure that you have, a large, cup of water in front of you, or a Stanley Cup or a tumbler, or something along the lines of that. Or even if you have just a water bottle like I do right here, and there's a refillable option near you within, eyesight or within walking distance. That's, a given that most people should know, but a lot of people, you'd be surprised, don't drink a lot of water. Number 5 is going to be managing stress. So cortisol, that's such a used word across this whole industry, but how do you actually manage cortisol? And that a lot of this is going to tie back into the strength training. If you're doing the HIIT classes, the short rest times, the HIIT, the jumping, the sprinting, that is going to really be negative when it comes to managing your stress, because stress just isn't if you have stress in your personal life with your job or your relationship. A lot of stress comes to the type of training you're doing. So doing proper strength training with a structured and customized program, something like I said, it's a little bit longer rest time periods, 60 to 90 seconds. It's going to make a big difference. Same thing with what are you doing the first thing when you wake up? Are you checking your phone? That is not a recipe for success. If you're checking Facebook or Instagram or your text messages, as soon as you wake up, that is immediately going to put some more stress on your body. One thing that I do when I wake up first thing in the morning is I have some electrolytes. I use the Noon tablets, Nuun. You can get them from Target or on Amazon. I put it in a tall glass of water. I drink that, paired with a cocktail, my gut cocktail I have every single morning, which is some water with 3 ounces of aloe vera juice, an ounce of apple cider vinegar, an ounce of lemon juice with glutamine, creatine, and essential amino acids make it taste really good. And that's just really, really good for gut health. So like starting your morning like that compared to just looking at your phone first thing, whether it's, writing down some of your intentions for the day, is going to make a big difference when it comes to your results and help speeding up your metabolism, because you're not going to be as stressed and you're going to have a lot more of a clear mind going into the day to make proper decisions, like going to the gym instead of scrolling social media, right? Number 6 is going to be sleep like it's your job. If you're not taking magnesium, you are, as the kids would say these days, you're tripping. You want to make sure that you're actually taking magnesium, because it's really, really good for you. I take magnesium like it is probably, if I were to recommend one supplement for someone to take, excuse me, it would be magnesium, because of the sleep benefits it has. But most importantly, like, most people set a bedtime, or most people set a time to get up. Why not set an alarm for you to go to bed? I understand you have a lot of different obligations like kids and sports and, meetings and work, but I would rather you get more sleep one night compared to you having to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. So you want to make sure that you are sleeping like it's your job. You can incorporate some magnesium, try and do your best and not scroll social media right before you go to bed, or do something that's going to really get you amped up. And seven is going to be eat more often, not less. And this doesn't mean that you need to eat 10 meals a day. This doesn't mean that you need to eat 20 meals, a day. What this means is you need to make sure that you're at least eating 3 solid meals a day with a snack here and there, whether that's Greek yogurt with berries, whether that's an apple with almond butter, whether that is cottage cheese, it's Greek yogurt, it's a protein shake. But you should not be skipping meals and only having 1 meal a day, 1 salad a day. You have a coffee, you have a protein shake. That is not a recipe for success. What a recipe for success is having a breakfast like 3 eggs with some sourdough, with some fruit. A lunch would be like 6 ounces of ground turkey, 93.7 ground turkey with some avocado and rice. And dinner is like chicken thighs with some sweet potatoes and veggies. All that stuff is going to promote a lot more, positive hormone production inside of our body and help speed up our metabolism, because you're getting your body the proper fuel that it needs, paired with the resistance training side of things. So, and just a bonus tip, the metabolism isn't really just about burning calories. It's about energy, confidence, and feeling like you again. Really just start do your absolute best to follow some of these steps, incorporate all of them. I would recommend that. If you guys want more, information on how I could help you on a much more personal level, when it comes to coaching side of things, you can come back to the chat inside Instagram, or just DM me on Instagram with the word Mom Squad. We can talk more about how that helps, because I'm not scared to plug what we do here, because we get our members amazing results. And having something structured and customized will increase your results substantially. If not, I highly recommend you incorporate this video. I guarantee you incorporating this alone will make a massive difference when it comes to your progress. I hope you guys all have the best day of your life. If you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe. You like this video, leave a comment, and I hope you guys all have the best day of your life.